Shalom. This is the book of Genesis 36 and verse 1. It said, "Now these are the generations of Esau, who is Edom." Alright, so this here, we're going into the book, we're going into the, to who is Amalek, where Amalek came from, right, where he stemmed from, right, his descendants, right. Also, going on with the descendants of Esau. All right. Alright, so onto that, we would like to say Kal Halayam, La Alhayna wa Yahwa Ba'ashim wa Shai, Bahashem Kodash, that will honors unto the apostles and elders of Great Millstone who ruled well. Shalom, and to the brothers that pushing his works in truth and in sincerity to all the four corners of the earth. And Shalom unto the Israelites who have been scattered among the heathen nation. And Shalom unto the sisters, the Aquatium, who is listening and learning, obeying the husband. Alright, there's your brother Kratazar from GMS Prophetic Vibration Camp out of Trinidad and Tobago. Alright, so here's what we're going on into. Is you're going on into the lineage of Esau, right? Because you need to understand the history, with the context of it. Alright, so let's go. This is the book of Genesis 36 and 1. It said, "Now these are the generation of Esau, who is Edom." Really, I may pronounce some of these names incorrectly, but I'm going to try my best. Alright, verse 2. "Esau took his wives of the daughters of Canaan, Ada, the daughter of Elon, and Hitti, and Aholibama, the daughter of Anna, and daughter of Zebion, the Hivite, and the Bashmat, Ishmael, daughter, sister of Nebajoth, and Ada bare to Esau." Right. Right. So Ada gave birth to Eliphaz for Esau. All right. Right. So you read over verse 4. "And Ada bare to Esau Eliphaz, and Bashimat bare Reuel." Verse 5. "And Aholibama bare Jis, and Jelam, and Kara. These are the sons of Esau, which were born unto him in the land of Canaan." Verse 6. "And Esau took his wives, and his sons, and his daughters, and all the persons of his house, and his cattle, and all his beasts, and all his substance, while he had got into the land of Canaan, and went into the country from the face from Slakia, and went into the country from the face of his brother Jacob." Right, so you see here, he taking up all his wealth, all his cattle and his beasts and his sons, his daughters, right, to move away from Jacob because there's when there's also too, I believe, when he did lose his birthright with the Lord as well. All right. And Jacob, well, basically became his enemy and so forth. Right. Verse 7. For their riches were more than that they might dwell together, and the land wherein they were strangers could not bear them between of their cattle. Right, let me see the NTSA. It said there was not enough land to support them both because of all the livestock and possession they had required. Right, going back to verse 8, right, in the KJV, it said, thus dwelt Esau in the Mount Seir. Esau is Edom. Right, you say a descendant of Esau. Right, and these are the generations of Esau, the father of the Edomites, in the Mount Seir. Alright, so the Edomites, they become a nation. This is where you see today. Right, there we go. So just right. So the Google, right, just give us a briefing here. Right, so type up who is the Edomites today. It said the Edomite descendants of Esau, Jacob brother, right, no longer exists as this distinct nation, having both absorbed into other people, but their descendants likely blend into populations across the Middle East, including modern modern um, modern Jordanians, Palestinians, and some Jewish groups. Right, but some people are saying, the going back, with the Amalek, and they where they get extinct and all that sort of bullshit. But hey, they are here on the earth because they are a lineage. They are the descendants from who? From Esau, which goes back to the Edomite, which is a nation. All right. Alright, so that we get back here now. Right, verse 10. Right, verse 10 and reads, it said, these are the names of Esau, son of Eliphaz, and son of Ada, the wife of Esau, Reuel, the son of Bashmat, the wife of Esau. And the sons of Eliphaz were Teman, Omar, Zephu, and Gatam, and Kenaz. Salakia. Right, verse 12. So you can see, because it's giving you the history here, because I didn't just want to go based on the main points, but just to get our back end, and the context, where it stemmed from to be Amalek. Who is Amalek? Alright. Verse 12. And Timnah was concubined. Salakia was concubined to Eliphaz, Esau's son, and she bare to Eliphaz Amalek. It said these were the sons of Ada, Esau's wife. Right, so you see where Amalek came from. Right, descendant from Esau. Right, verse 13. And these are the sons of Reuel, Nahat, and Zerah, Shammah, and Mizah. These were the sons of Bashemat, Esau's wife. And these were the sons of Aholibamah, the daughter of Ada, the daughter of Zebeon, Esau's wife. And she bare to Esau Yish and Chelam and Korah. It said these were dukes of the son of Esau and the son of Eliphaz, the firstborn son of Esau, Duke Teman, Duke Omar, and Duke Zephu, and Duke Kenaz. Right? Let me see something here with some context. Salak. Alof. Right, they're just going into the interliner with Duke. Alright, friend, intimate, chief. Okay, chief. Okay, so the two going into like they had positions in terms of certain roles. So it goes into like the chief, friend, governor, or guide. Sure, that you had a certain role to play, a strong role. All right. Let's get back to it. 16. It said Duke Korah, Duke Gatam, and Duke Amalek. These are the dukes that came of Eliphaz in the land of Edom. These were the sons of Ada. Right, so we're heading on to Genesis 25 and 23, right? So we're reading on top here, right, for some context again. All right. And Yahweh said unto her, Salak, me, we start at verse 20. Just for some context, we start at verse 19, right? It said Isaac's sons. Right, this goes into the birth of Esau and Jacob. Right. I just feel to get some context, right, so we'll understand, who is Esau. Also goes into with Amalek as well. So as we see from the previous scripture, Genesis 36, you see where Amalek came from, right? So let's go. This is Genesis 25 and 19, and said, and these are the generations of Isaac, Abraham's sons. Abraham begot Isaac. And Isaac was 40 years old when he took Rebekah to wife, the daughter of Bethuel, the Syrian of Panaram, the sister of Laban the Syrian. And Esau and Salak and Isaac entreated Yahweh for his wife. Right, and we go into that word entreated. Alright.
Strong's H6279. Ather.
Right, so it's going to pray, entreat, supplicate, right? To pray, entreat, to be supplicated, by entreated, to make supplication, plead, right? So you're going on to the Lord and pleading on him, right? The strong definition said here, to burn incense in worship, right? To entreat, make prayer, right? So they went on to the Lord, and they pray about it first. All right, let's get back to the scripture here. All right, it said Yahweh for his wife because she was barren, and Yahweh was entreated of him, and Rebekah his wife conceived. And the children struggled together within her. And she said, if it be so, why am I thus? And she went to inquire of Yahweh. And Yahweh said unto her, 2 nations are in thy womb, and two manner of people shall be separated from thy bowels, and the one people shall be stronger than the other people, and the elder shall serve the younger. And when her days to be delivered were fulfilled, behold, there were 2 in her womb, and the first came out red, all over like a hairy garment, right? Which is who? Esau. All right, and they call his name Esau. And after that came his brother out, and his hand took hold of Esau's heel. Right, and after that came his brother out, and his hand took hold of Esau's heel. Right, so that basically represents a bringing down of a nation or a particular people, right? And his name was called Jacob. And Isaac was 80 years old when she bare them. Right, verse 27. And the boys grew, and Esau a cunning hunter, right? He was a skillful hunter, right? The man of the field, a man of the field, and Jacob was a plain man, dwelling in the tent. So, like, as you could see, all right, like now in today's world here now, you see where you will see like the white man will mostly go out. He will be on the field hunting all them animals. Even in like geographic, you will see where they will go and hold the crocodiles, and they will be going around learning the species and this and that, and always constantly within the wild they're roaming from country to country. This is Esau, and it still exists today. Right, just like our Jacob bloodline still live on today, right? And you see, with the dwelling tents, which is that he prefer, to be at home, do the things at home. He might probably do a little outdoor, activities, but not as Esau will, go down into the wild, in the trenches, and and these different type of things. Right, verse 28, and it said, and Isaac loved Esau, because he did eat of his venison, but Rebekah loved Jacob. Right, let's go in here. Here it said, Isaac loved Esau because he enjoyed eating the wild game Esau brought home, right? Like the different meats that he may catch and so forth. But Rebecca loved Jacob. Right? So let's go into the book of Hebrews 12 and 16. Right now, you come back to that. Right? Verse 29, it said, and Jacob sowed pottage, and Esau came from the field, and he was faint. Right, there we go in the NLT here. It said, one day when Jacob was cooking some stew, Esau arrived home from the wilderness, exhausted and hungry. Esau said to Jacob, I am starved, give me some of the red stew. This is how Jacob got his other name, Edom, which means red. Right, which means red. All right, Jacob replied, but trade me your rights as the firstborn son. It said, look, I'm dying of starvation, said Esau. What good is the birthright to me now? But Jacob said, first you must swear that your birthright is mine. So Esau swore an oath, thereby selling all his rights as the firstborn to his brother Jacob. Right, so reading down here. Right, verse 34. Then Jacob gave Esau some bread and lentil stew. Esau ate the meal, then got up and left. He showed contempt for his rights as the firstborn. So now, as you can see, right, that he sold his birthright just by simply, swearing an oath, right? Because he was hungry and he couldn't hold his I will say, well, he couldn't hold his hunger. He couldn't hold it. Right, but let's get the context for that in Hebrews. Right, there's a book of Hebrews 12. Let me see. Right, 12 and 16. It said, lest there be any fornicator or profane person as Esau, who for one morsel of meat sold his birthright. Right, he said, for he knew how that afterward, when he would have inherited the blessing, he was rejected, for he found no place of repentance, though he sought it carefully with tears. Right? And all this was, a part of the Lord rule. Right? Because Esau couldn't contain himself. So he lost the blessing as the firstborn. Alright. So reading the NLT here, it said, that afterwards, when he wanted his father's blessing, he was rejected. It was too late for repentance, even though he begged with bitter tears. Right? Because Esau was willingly exchanging his birthright for immediate satisfaction, right? Remember, he didn't wait for the food to done, well, for the meat to properly cook. Basically, he eat the meat raw, and that is something that we're not supposed to do. That is abomination, right? The Lord speak about these things. These things is also a part of the law, right? Also, with that type of act, is a demonstration of contempt, of contempt of the is a act, is an act, of demonstration, the contempt for of the responsibility. He didn't take responsibility, I should say, in terms that he was basically careless then, right, and not thinking before he act. Because why? Because you were so hungry that you just went ahead with it, so you lost your birthright off of raw meat, right? Here we go to let me see, Romans 9 and 13. Right, this is the book of Romans 9 and 13. It said, as it is written, Jacob have I loved, but Esau I have hated. Right, so you can see what's going on here, right? That the Lord, the love our peculiar set of people, as go back to the 12 tribe, and he hate Esau, right? John 3:16, where the Christianity does tell you about God so loved the whole world. No, it's telling you this right here. He said, Jacob have I loved, but Esau have I hated. because Esau, because he went before the covenant, right? By eating the raw meat, and that is what went on there and all too, right? See, right. Also, you saw, he was also rejected spiritually. He was rejected spiritually, to that sort. And this is so like this is where the hate of Amalek emerge worldwide, right? Of anyone who basically walking in the path of the covenant with Yahweh B'Hashem Shai. This is why you see today that we have the race card, right? That is why you're seeing these things, right? With what take place with us in slavery, right? The race card, all the abominable things that they done unto the people, of Jacob, right? Because he hates us. He also trying to get back that birthright, of trying to go through his sorcerers, his soothsayers, he astrologers, even with the going through the machines like the sun, the Hadron Collider, all these things. All right. So now you have a context in terms of, okay, where it stemmed from. Now you have seen it. Now you have seen. All right. So we go to Malachi 1 and 2. It said, I have loved you, said Yahweh. Yet ye say, therein hast thou loved us. Was not Esau Jacob's brother? Said Yahweh, yet I loved Jacob, and I hated Esau, and led his mountains and his heritage waste for the dragons of the wildness of the wilderness. Right? You say, whereas Edom said, we are impoverished, but we will return and build the desolate places. Thus said Yahweh of hosts, they shall build, but I will throw down, and they shall call them the border of wickedness, and the people against whom Yahweh had indignation forever. All right. Right, and also seeing where these where this was where the wars was taking place, with Amalek and Jacob, because Amalek, did not came from Jacob, right, the covenant line. He was he represents the resistance rising from a carnal alignment rather than the obedience from Yahweh, because he did so that, in terms of history, coming down the line, from it, hearing how we father birthright was gone and this and that and the other, with the eternal hatred too. Right? Alright, so there's a precept to back up the precept that I just read, right, which is the Malachi 1, 2, and 3. Right, this is Ezekiel 35 and 9. It said, I will make thee perpetual desolation, and thy cities shall not return. Remember, they said that they will build, they'll build back, the desolate places. Right, continuing, and ye shall know that I am Yahweh. Right, so it's all basically just letting them know here that, hey, although you build, I will throw it down. Right, because look at what as when you look through the years, right, they're going into the land, of America. They steal the land from the Native Americans. They kill them out, right? They delete them, right? And they unalive them, right? And you see, when they're showing in the western like western movies, you will see they build the desolated places, because these places it was desolated, right? So they throw up all the houses, the businesses, big skyscrapers as you seen it today. Right, and also that take by mention, let me get the precept too. Right, there's the book of Job 9 and 24. The earth is given into the hands of the wicked. He covered the faces of the judges. Therefore, if not, where and who is he? Right, and this is the man. This is the man that we speak of here. Alright, this is the man that we speak of. Alright, and just some more context, this is, is the Edomites, nation of today. Alright, so you can have a look at that. You could also go on, and search it up for yourself too. Alright. Let me see if they get some more little insights, some more little images. Let me see, look at this one. Alright. Alright, so there's just some more context in terms of going on into Edom, right? So this book here, the Edomites. Alright, so let's read. Edom, read it, right? The name Edom was given to Esau, the firstborn son of Isaac, the twin brother of Jacob, when he sold his birthright to a latter for a meal of lentil pottage. The country which the Lord subsequently gave Esau was hence called the country of Edom, and his descendants were called Edomites. Edom was called the Mount Seir, as we read in the scriptures, and Idumea also. Idumea is also another name for Esau, right? Edom was worldly, a mountainous tract about 100 miles long by 20 broad, extending along the eastern side of the Wadi Abarah from the north ending of the Gulf Elat to the near southern end of the Dead Sea. Right, so see, because I just remember the scripture that also talk about the wild, how we like to hunt, right? So you can see how far he goes. Right, the ancient capital of Edom was Bozrah. Petra appears to have been the principal stronghold in the day of Amaziah BC 838. Alat and Ezion Gibeah were the seaports. It said Esau's bitter hatred to his brother Jacob for fraudulently obtaining his blessing, appearing to have been inherited by his latest posterity. The Edomites primarily refused to permit the Israelites to pass through their land for a period of 400 years. Care no more of the Edomites, they were then attacked and defeated by Saul, and some 40 years later by David. In the ruins of Jehoshaphat, BC 914, the Edomites attempted to invade Israel but failed. They joined the Nebuchadnezzar. When the king besieged Jerusalem for their cruelty. At this time, they were fearfully denounced by the later prophets. After this, they settled in the southern Palestine, and for more than 4 centuries continued to prosper. But during the warlike rule of the Maccabees, they were again completely subdued and even forced to conform to Jewish laws and rights and submit to the government of Jewish prefect, the Edomites were now incorporated with the Jewish nation. They were idolaters. Their habits were singular. Their Horites, their predecessors in Mount Seir, where the name implies, Troglodytes, or dwellers in cave, because that is where they came from too. They came from the Caucasus Mountains. All right. And the Edomites seem to have adopted their dwellings as well as their country. Everywhere we meet with caves and grutas hewn in the soft sandstone. Right, so after reading this little context here, my storage has just run out. So I'll just end off this part here with that. So unto that, I would like to say Kal Halayam La Alahayna wa Yahawa Bashim Rashai Bashim Makakodash. Double honors unto the apostles and elders of Great Millstone Field. Well, Shalom unto the brothers that pushing his works, his truth, and his sincerity for the four corners of the earth. Shalom unto Israelite sisters who listen and learning and obeying your husband. Lazy brother Kratisa. Until next time, Shalom.